Hey, and welcome to Dirty Lazy Girl, a podcast that offers realistic girlfriend support and problem solving for imperfect people.
You don't have to be perfect to be successful. Every week, we'll give you unconventional, dirty, or lazy problem solving strategies. Let's get started. Stephanie, I can get so focused during the holiday. What I mean by that is just busy, oh, do I have the perfect dress? Did I make the perfect meal? And it's just caught up in how I look or how our family looks, or just in the busyness of, making everything look just so. And honestly, I know that's not a good way to approach the holidays. I know it. And I know this year, I really want to put the focus on giving. And I want to add more like random acts of kindness and giving into the holiday. Well, actually all year long, because I know honestly that makes me feel good and it makes everybody around me feel good.
I think you're right. It's really easy to get caught up, especially in the commercialism of the holidays. I know for me, it's easy to fall into that trap of like trying to be perfect or trying to do it all. Tamara, and then I end up feeling stressed. I feel disappointed. And a bigger issue for me is then I feel like really inadequate and I feel bad about myself as a mom, as a wife, as a parent, as a daughter. Like I'm just not doing the holidays right. So at varying degrees, this just happens to me every year. So I'm hoping that with our talking about this, I might realize that the irony for me is that I bring it on myself. And I'm hoping today that we'll brainstorm some just really clever, simple ideas where I can maybe take the focus off myself and on something more positive, because I want to put a stop to this before it even begins.
Me too. So we've come up with 8 random acts of kindness that you can try that are guaranteed, Stephanie, to make you catch the holiday spirit and make you feel amazing. But first, let's take a quick break.
Awesome. Well, today's episode, Tamara, is brought to you by Santa's Little Helper. I even brought my little hat to ho, 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 right? We're getting in the spirit. So by Santa's Little Helper, this is a new cookbook to complete your Dirty Lazy Keto library of cookbooks. There's no more excuses about not having enough time to cook a healthy meal. With the Dirty Lazy Keto No Time to Cook cookbook, you'll have 100 easy recipes to make in 30 minutes or less. And if you order now, you will receive a free bonus gift from Santa. So details are at dirtylazyketo.com/books.
Awesome. That'd make a great gift. So let's get started with our 8 random acts of kindness. And our first one I've labeled anonymous kindness.
Anonymous kindness.
So that's secretly performing kindness for someone. And I don't know, there's something really fun about knowing you did something, but they don't know you did it. I don't know. It just gives you that little fun feeling inside. Some mystery.
Some like mystery and excitement. Like what would be an example of that? Because I'm having a hard time picturing what a secret anonymous kindness act might be.
Some people will feed coins in your parking meter for you. They see that it's going to expire. I know, isn't that the cool? Nobody's done that for me, but people, please do. I would appreciate it. We used to, in an apartment, we have a laundry room, and people would leave laundry soap, like just leave it for other people to use. Like it's a tiny little gesture. Or even, those charities where you buy a gift for a needy child, you can do that anonymously. So those are some ways. I know the one I love is at my university in the public bathrooms. Someone, we don't know who it is, keeps leaving free feminine products in the women's bathroom for anybody. And it's just such a kind, thoughtful thing because, in an emergency, that's great to have.
Maybe it's someone that just went through menopause. Well, that's a great way of paying it forward. Yeah. I think too often we all get caught up in thinking being kind to others involves finances. And, at this time of year, especially, we're all kind of strapped. So figuring out little acts of kindness that we can do that are anonymous or otherwise that maybe are low cost or simple, I think it's really clever. Yeah. This reminds me, Tamara, of a funny episode I just watched on one of my favorite comedy shows. It's called Life in Pieces. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. Life in Pieces. It's really funny. And they're just like, it's like a cheesy sitcom, but it's so clever. And there was this episode where a main character, Greg, he donated a bunch of money to his high school sports team and he did it anonymously. And he was really proud of himself, right? Like for donating anonymously. And then his brother came along and took credit for it and told everybody that he did it. And so Greg was like, I did it, but he couldn't tell anyone because he was trying to do it anonymously. But it was like killing him that his brother took credit. And I just thought that was so funny because, you know, too often if I do something nice, I want credit. So this one's kind of, I mean, I'll admit, I'm kind of like Greg. Like if I do something nice, I want people to know about it. I don't know. I'm gonna really work on this one this holiday because I think it's an important one.
Yeah, and it still feels good. Trust me, even if they don't know you did it, you know you did it. And
I don't know if that's enough. Maybe I need credit.
Try it and find out.
We'll find out.
I know.
Okay. It's kind of like on Seinfeld where one of the characters put like money in the tip jar, but then the soup Nazi wasn't looking. I think it was George. And then he tried to pull the money out. And then the soup Nazi saw him pulling money out of the tip jar so we could put it back in. I don't know.
It makes me laugh. The tip jars are always awkward because you want them to know they did a good job.
You put it in.
Yes. That's so funny.
Well, I will work on that one. It sounds like this one's my issue.
And you know what? We have 8. So if you don't like one,
okay.
I think people will find that some of them suit their personality better. Like this second one, it's called spontaneous kindness. My son does this a lot. It's unplanned kindness. It's just a moment arises and you seize the moment. And my son is this giant guy. He's 6'4". He's got like muscles, and he's not one to, he doesn't give to charities. He's not a volunteer. That's my daughter. But you know what? People see him. Old ladies love him. I swear, every time we go out, they'll say, honey, can you help me lift this water off the shelf?
Flex his muscles.
Oh, he does. He ends up helping little old ladies across the street. He helps them with their packages. And I have to say, this is his kindness, is he never scowls or never acts put out. He's like, sure. And he keeps like a friendly face about it so that they don't feel bad for asking him. So he's like, oh, no problem. So I think that suits his personality really well.
Yeah, there's always one that kind of works better with who you are.
Yeah.
For me, being spontaneous, I think I'm a little bit better when it comes to giving away cash tips. Mm-hmm. And this is something that was one of my New Year's resolutions last year, where, so what I do, because initially it used to be hard for me to give money away. Like, I don't know, someone's helping you with your luggage or, the valet, and you're trying to give someone a tip. And then you open up your wallet and you're like, oh crap, I only have 20s. Right? Like, am I the only one that happens to? I get money from the ATM. That's all I have. So that used to be my impediment to giving away money and being spontaneous with tipping. So now I keep a separate section in my wallet just for singles and 5s. And then I make a point, especially like when I'm traveling, to only use 20s, get the change, put it in that special compartment. That way I have money to just spontaneously give away when it's appropriate. Right?
Yeah. Cause it's awkward to say, wait here, I'm going to go get change.
Like, oh, excuse me, valet, or, bell captain, may I please have change for my 20? And then you feel like a cheap bastard, right? Yeah. The whole point is to like be spontaneous and give money away. And it's awkward.
So that's smart. And you can even like maybe before your vacation or whatever, you could just go get a bunch of 1s or 5s or whatever.
Yeah. And put them aside. I think that's the key. Is I used to stick it with my wallet, my normal money, and then I'd spend it because I like to pay with exact change. So putting it somewhere special, like in your purse, for me, that really helps.
Yeah, that's awesome tip. And now's the time, that's another act of kindness. Just tipping in general is just a sweet way to say, here's some extra stuff. You did a great job.
You taught me that. It's like, oh, I was asking you, what should I get for, my tutor? What should I get for so-and-so? And you said cash. Cash is king. You told me that. You're like, don't stress. Just hand people money. People like money. And I know it feels awkward. Like, oh, it's not special. I didn't go shopping for it. But people need cash. Always.
It doesn't hurt, and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
Really, they do. In fact, more often than some trinket. Like my sister's a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and she's like, the gift cards and the cash are much better than the ceramic apple
mug.
Yeah.
She's got too. Because then if you get a gift card, you can actually go out and buy more supplies for the classroom or art supplies, or maybe enjoy a meal out if it's a gift card. So that's much appreciated.
Yeah. So when you see an opportunity, hop on it.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Well,
our
if you don't have
third?
any money? Like, what could you do if you don't have, cash to give out? What else
Well,
could
it's
be
just being
kind?
available, like just being like my son who's just there and he'll lend a hand. I know I have one of my most, this, I don't know, it just makes me appreciate my husband a lot. Was one time this is when we first got married. We were in the car at a stoplight and this woman with a stroller was walking across the crosswalk and her baby like threw the bottle out and the mom didn't see it. So my husband hopped out of the car, grabbed the bottle, and then, ran it over to this woman. And I just remember thinking, oh, that's the sweetest, nicest
So sweet.
thing. Yeah, as a mom, it really helps because then she would have been stuck without that bottle.
Right.
So just opportunities as they come up.
It does. You're right. I was kind of thinking more of another way you could do, like in addition to being kind and just spontaneous, but to use your talent in a way that could help others. Like you may have a special talent like you, Tamara. You're such a beautiful artist. You do such wonderful paintings. There might be a way that I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, that you could use your special talents to be kind and help someone else in a way that could totally brighten their day.
Yeah. My mom paints too, and she painted for free a mural for the church's nursery.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wasn't that like a beautiful gesture?
Yes, so nice. Because she's probably the only one that could do that.
Yeah, and they couldn't afford to pay a fancy artist, so that was like using her talents. I know, Stephanie, you have a lot more like medical knowledge and you have a lot of experience in the medical field, so I feel like you use that talent to help me all the time. You're constantly like helping me read my medical reports, or I'll say, what do I ask the doctor? And you say, okay, ask this. And honestly, it sounds weird, but it is your talent. It's your expertise. So that's been a huge help for me personally.
Let's just be clear. I have absolutely no training. I am only a doctor on TV. I like to pretend. I just have good questions to ask.
Yeah.
But absolutely no certifications or medical training professionally.
You've given me good advice though.
I appreciate that. Well, I wanted to share something. I was trying to look for my example in my book, but I think it got relocated. I wanted to just share with our listeners something I do that shares my talent, if you will, to help others, is the fast food guide, the Dirty Lazy Keto fast food guide. I don't know if a lot of our listeners know this, but that's free if you're with Amazon Kindle. So that's something you can read for free at no cost. And if you do choose to buy a paperback copy, we do the proceeds benefit my favorite charity, the Goodwill. So that's something my husband and I decided to work on a couple of years ago. And we just put together all of our knowledge about what to order when you go to fast food. And, we give that away for free.
And I will add to that, our listeners might not know it, but Stephanie is behind the scenes getting you listeners free stuff. We had that interview with Carb Quick and all these other major people. I hope I'm not giving it any away, but let me just put out there that she's constantly working.
I'm always working it.
Yeah.
I can buy little tchotchkes to give away. I do have one of those I can share. And this is brand new. No one's seen this before. But I'm always buying like fun little things to give away on camera. Like here are some new swag items. These are miniature cutting boards.
That's so cute.
I know, right? So you know what I'll do, since we're being spontaneous.
Okay.
Today,
there you go.
One of our listeners writes in about a favorite spontaneous act of kindness that they plan on doing this holiday season, and we choose their story to read on camera. I will mail them the very first Dirty Lazy Keto cutting board for free.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love to give stuff away. It makes things fun.
Yeah, and I think that's your way of doing kind acts, don't you think?
I try.
Yeah.
It makes it fun for me. It makes me motivated. So I'm always, trying to collect new ideas and ways I can help others.
Yeah. Well, our next kind of kindness I call beautiful kindness, but it's just, even if you don't have the talent for it, it's just making something beautiful or giving someone the experience of beauty. Like you can buy someone flowers, plant a tree. I know I appreciate my neighbors because they have this beautiful yard, and I know maybe that's a selfish act for them, but it benefits our whole neighborhood. And it makes me look good. So like, I'm really appreciative.
You're all, my neighborhood's fabulous.
I know.
Really, look at their yard first. No, you're so silly. I walk by your house all the time. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, but I appreciate that they take pride and, if they see trash on the ground, they pick it up and make things look pretty. So that's what this type of kindness is about.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend who every year she makes ornaments and hands them out to all of, the kids' friends and parents, actually the parents. But she always does these cute ornaments specifically made out of wine corks. And they're so beautiful. And she makes them into wreaths with bows. And I have them all on my tree. And I just think it's so clever and creative and low cost. She'll also make zucchini bread or just different holiday treats.
Yeah.
And I think it's it's a nice gesture. And it doesn't cost her much.
No.
It's a lot to me. I look forward to it more than maybe, like you said, a mug or something.
Yeah. And that ornament makes your tree look beautiful.
And I look at it every year and I crack up about how much wine she must have drank. Because she makes these ornaments for everybody. I'm like, girl, that's a lot of wine. That makes me laugh. And so therefore I get a lot of joy out of her gift.
Yeah, that's awesome.
More so than the zucchini bread. My husband ends up eating that one, but I love the ornaments.
Yeah, those sound really cute. Well, maybe you're a writer and you're good at expressing yourself in writing. That's another kind of random act, is to write something down. Like, for instance, you can write a soldier who's, in Afghanistan or overseas, who, an encouraging note, or you can do little sticky notes you put on the mirror to say something nice to your kids or your husband. I know as a professor, I do this a lot, and I make myself do this because sometimes it's hard, which is to write kind, positive things on my students' papers they turn in. And sometimes they'll turn in just a horrible paper. But I always say, it's my opportunity. I don't want to discourage them. So I always try, no matter what, to say some positive little thing about, what a great title for your paper.
Always find something positive.
You always do. And I always put that first. And then that way it sets the tone. Like, I'm not attacking you. I want to encourage you.
That's a wonderful sentiment. Well, as a writer, I sure appreciate that. I know just hearing book reviews for me is probably been the most meaningful gift that I've ever received from our listeners. And I don't know if our listeners know how important those are to writers to get your reviews, but I just want to share with you how important they are to me. And Tamara, this is kind of a surprise. I was trying not to show you before the episode, but I actually bound all of the reviews that listeners have left for my books. And I have them all right here. And as you can see, this is a monster book. It's like 200 pages.
Wow.
And I'm just going to show you a quick, and it's like all my highlights. I want to hold this up so our listeners can see. But look at so what I did is I downloaded all the reviews from all the books and I put them in picture format in this beautiful bound book, along with, some pictures too. You might recognize who these ladies are.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's me and you, Tamara, from our very first podcast where we couldn't figure out how to plug in anything.
That's so cute.
Yep, in your kitchen.
Yeah.
It just means a lot. Like, I want our listeners to know this is a simple gesture you can do, but leaving a book review, for any of my books or any book, period. But when you do that on Amazon, it elevates the status of the book and it helps retailers decide if they're going to carry the book. Like, I used to think all books were carried at every store, like a library. I don't know why I thought that, but it's not true. Like Target, Walmart, they don't decide to carry your book until after they've read what readers think about it. Yeah. So it's a big deal. And it's something free you can do for anyone.
Yeah, it's so nice. And I try to remember that now that I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, and our podcast too.
Yeah, I try to leave reviews because, like you said, it's a simple act of kindness that really, because you're benefiting free from their, work. And that book is such a great idea too. That's another great idea. Give somebody something in writing, like a book like that, because now every time you open that book, it'll have such a flood of, goodness.
There's hundreds, thousands of them. Wow. It's ridiculous. I think on Goodreads I have, I counted recently. It was like 2,800 reviews. Oh. It's ridiculous. And they're just so meaningful that some of them make me cry. We read them at dinner. My kids know them because every time I get a new one, I read them because they mean just a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
And some of them have pictures, some have videos.
Wow.
And that's why I get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Words mean a lot.
Words mean a lot.
Words mean a lot. And they're free.
They're free.
Yeah. Yep. So that one's a good one.
What's number 6? We're moving on.
Double up, and this is one that you like. It's not a lot of extra work or expense if you double something like cook double dinner. So just instead of making one chicken, just throw in two. It's not that much extra work, and
Don't you knit, Tamara? Aren't you a knitter of scarves?
I crochet. I'm not great, but I can do scarves. So if I just do an extra one, I can keep one and then give the other one to a homeless shelter
or Stephanie.
I'll have to knit you. Mine
or me.
Mine don't look great, but I'm almost embarrassed.
I would love to wear a scarf that you'd make me.
Okay. Well, I'm working on one right now.
Okay. Just throwing that out there. If you need to know my favorite color or anything like that.
Okay. Holla. Okay.
It might be hot pink in case.
I got you.
Just saying.
I know. That's like
here's my double up strategy. Mine's a little bit self-interested, which are sometimes the best ones, because then you do it, right? Like if you benefit a little bit, it's okay to be a tiny bit selfish. But my double up kindness, Tamara, is when I book airline seats. This is my strategy because there's 4 of us in my family. So, and usually a plane has 6 seats across, like 3 and 3. So what I do is I always book the aisle and the window, and then the aisle and the window for my family of 4. So that leaves the 2 middle seats. And then what we do is when we get on the plane, inevitably there's a family in front of us, behind us, on either side that is separated, and then we'll trade.
Oh, wow.
So our families can sit together, because otherwise, you're split up.
Yeah. And what a bonus from I would be thrilled if someone says, take the middle seat and here's an aisle seat.
Because, we have kids. So we're like, too bad for them. They'll end up in the middle, and then we can flip flop.
Yeah.
But here's the benefit with it being a double is that sometimes that doesn't happen, and there is no family in front or behind that needs to switch. And then in those cases, a lot of times the middle seat will remain empty.
And there you go.
So then I get a whole row. Holla! Then you can stretch out and relax.
That's so creative. But
and it works, man. I've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's 50-50 whether or not we end up with the whole row to ourselves. But if not, that's fine too. We end up trading with a family, and that helps.
Yeah. Airplanes, by the way, are great places to be kind, like just helping people with their luggage or their little kids. I had a lady with a tiny kid who was screaming, and I was just trying to say encouraging things like, oh, I've been there. They'll be fine. Try this, try that,
Yeah. I always offer to people traveling with infants, I offer to hold them so they can go to the bathroom or eat.
Me too.
And then that's fun for me because I love babies.
Yeah, it's just such a spontaneous, sweet thing to do for, because airplane rides with kids, we know is crazy.
It can be a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, another double up one that happens, speaking of kids, to my kids is on Halloween, because they didn't trick or treat because they're old, but when they were younger, the neighbors were so sweet, and they would always buy extra for the neighborhood kids from their neighborhood, or that were like right next door, or an extra big size. And so when, Ella would show up, they'd be like, oh, Ella's here. And they'd go get the special treat. They'd run out. And I was just like, it's a small thing, but it's just a sweet gesture to let your kids know they're special.
That's a really kind one.
Yeah. Well, our next type of kindness is clean kindness. It's sort of like related to the beauty one, but it's just picking up the dirt or the trash or the, doing the dishes or something that, makes the world a little nicer for someone else.
That's true.
Yeah.
Whenever I drive my husband's car, I try to get a car wash because that's just something he just won't do.
Yeah.
And it's nice to pay it forward and just tidy up. Yeah. Is there something that you like to do that is a spontaneous, clean kindness gesture?
Well, when I go on my walks in the morning, especially on trash day, everybody's trash cans are out, and oftentimes those trash trucks will knock over their trash can. So I know this is a tiny thing, but I usually try to pick it up for them. I'm like, I'm out and about, and it's just a tiny little thing, but just something I do nice. Just to keep the neighborhood looking respectable.
And I think it helps. My neighbors often bring our trash cans up to our house, especially like when we're on trips. I don't ask them, but it's like you said, it's a clean kindness. It's a spontaneous, anonymous kindness, even though I know it's them. Yeah. But it keeps our neighborhood safer.
It does. Yeah. Then they know you're not home. Yeah. Our neighbors will pick up a newspaper if we forgot to stop the newspaper or something.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Keeps it tidy and keeps the world a little safer.
Yeah. Well, did you have anything you do with your closet?
Oh, yes. Let me share. This is something, and again, I think it's important too with holiday kindness. So what we're talking about, not focusing so much on ourselves. I think at the holidays, we all think our gestures have to be huge, right? And I just want to reiterate that point that these little things mean a lot to people, and you can do them year round. It doesn't have to be just at the holidays. And one thing that we've really tried to do since my kids were little was to keep a big basket in everyone's closet, where when things are too small, not fitting right, just not your look, put them in that basket. And then about once a month, I go through the whole house, put them all in garbage bags and take them to the Goodwill. And for us, it helps keep our house tidier. I feel like we're helping our community more, and it makes the kids more inclined to keep organized, and me too. Because then I don't have this overwhelmingly stuffed closet full of stuff that's just not right for me. I feel like I'm paying it forward.
Yeah.
And I go shopping while I'm at the Goodwill.
And you're
I like to
recycling.
buy. Tamara and I are big thrift store shoppers.
Yeah.
I should preface that. That's where I buy probably 90% of my clothes.
Yeah. And it helps the environment too, by the way.
Yeah. You can look at it however you want. The kids are
Yeah.
starting to call it thrifting, like I'm gonna pop some tags. Like it's kind of like cool and hip now. Before it was like mom's embarrassing, we're poor. I don't know, call it what you want, but I like being able to buy whatever I want in a store and knowing that I'm not gonna go broke at the cash register.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can just kind of throw stuff in, like this shirt. I was like, it was like $2. I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna fit, but maybe it will.
There you go.
It's like a non-risk type of thing.
It is. And it's another free act of kindness to give it away. In fact, it's doing you a favor, you don't have to go to
rotating the clothes.
Exactly. Okay, our last one. If you're not one who likes to write kindness, you can speak it. Compliment someone, compliment your server. Actually, my advice is don't just compliment your server, get their boss or their manager and compliment, because that really goes much further. So say, can I speak to your manager and say, I just want she's doing an amazing job. We couldn't be happier. We're going to come back again, or, say the right words, or just learning people's names, like at the grocery store and using it and asking about their day. I mean, these are tiny little free things, but I think they're what makes life meaningful.
No, you're right. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been on the phone with customer service and they'll say, oh, and to take an anonymous customer service survey at the end, press 1. And most of us just hang up. I always try to do those, especially like you said, if I'm getting great customer service, and I'll mention them by name and then take the survey and give them as many, compliments as I can. Because if you're in an industry where your job and your promotion depends on the type of feedback you get from customer service, your free words of kindness could give them a raise. Right?
It makes a big difference.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. And so it's just a little extra couple minutes out of your day, but it really is helpful. I know when I'm in public, I've been trying something new, which is to compliment total strangers.
Okay. You just stop them on the street? Or
I was in the elevator with this lady, and she had the cutest purse. And I turned to her, I'm like, oh my goodness, I love your purse. And she ended up giving me all these tips for, how to find designer bags at good prices. And so I've been doing that, like, just not like I won't just stop someone in the street, but like
Tamara's just talking to people.
If you're waiting in line and the person's right beside you in line, or, something where there's a little moment where you're sitting next to some stranger.
You might make their day, especially I think at the holidays, if you're feeling blue or you're feeling kind of self-obsessed or worried about getting everything done, it's like turning it around and focusing on a total stranger and giving them nice compliments about the way they look or what they're carrying on with. It can really make you feel a boost of happiness. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes. And it's easier. Like it's easier to compliment a stranger than sometimes the people close to you.
I don't know why that is.
I know.
It's funny. Yeah, I have a girlfriend who's like, I'd say on a regular basis, she'll text me a random thing like, hope you're having a great day, beautiful. I appreciate your friendship. And I'm like, so nice, but out of the blue. And I would think I would never do that. Like, it's just such a strange, spontaneous moment that fills my day with joy. And I just never think of things like that. So it means a lot.
It does mean a lot. Yeah. Well, I'm curious what random acts of kindness our listeners do. Let us know by emailing Stephanie at dirtylazyketo.com or through Facebook or Instagram at dirtylazyketo. Before we get to our final hacks, let's stop and take a quick break.
Well, and of course, the person that we choose to read their story, right, Tamara? They're going to receive one of these cool cutting boards. Don't forget. Yeah. So we look forward to reading your feedback. Well, listeners, we hope that we are encouraging you to live your best life, and we want you to start the new year strong with a boost of motivation and inspiration for healthy eating. And in the new cookbook, I share 100 fast keto recipes that take 30 minutes or less. 30 minutes from start to finish. In the new Dirty Lazy Keto No Time to Cook cookbook. So order your paperback or ebook copy today from Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you like to shop for books. If you pre-order between now and the end of the year, you are eligible for the free bonus gift. And links to order and redeem are at dirtylazyketo.com/books.
Thank you, Stephanie. So let's wrap up our episode by sharing a personal hack. What is yours, Stephanie?
Well, my personal hack for holiday acts of kindness is to be charitable with something that's more in line with your values. I think it becomes a little bit easier and less awkward. And I've become personally more motivated when I tie my kindness to something I feel really passionate about. That way it's more of a chore and not feeling like an obligation or a financial burden. It's something you really look forward to.
That's awesome. Well, my hack I'm stealing from my friend Barbara. So shout out to Barbara.
Shout out Barbara.
She's great. And what she does is she keeps in her car these little baggies, and she puts whatever she has from the dollar store. She doesn't spend a lot, but like non-perishable, like granola bars or beef jerky, cookies, toiletries, whatever. And then when she drives by a homeless person, or you know how I know in California here, the homeless will be like at a stoplight right beside your car. And so she just rolls down her window and gives them one of these, and she calls them a blessing bag.
Aww.
It's so sweet, because I know some people aren't comfortable giving money, and they appreciate these. They really do. And I was with her one time, and the homeless person was like, "Oh, thank you. This is wonderful." I mean, they were just gushing about it. So this is just another fun way to give a blessing to someone, and you feel great.
Hey, that's amazing. Well, the big message to our listeners today is, it's a little bit ironic. One of the greatest ironies is the push and pull of giving versus receiving. And sometimes it's okay to reframe it in that way. The more you give, the more you receive. And if you're feeling blue this holiday, or just not feeling maybe the true spirit of the holidays, these little random, simple acts of inexpensive kindness that might just fill your joy and get you back on track.
Nice. So are you enjoying the Dirty Lazy Girl podcast? Show us your support by leaving a review, and here's how. On your iPhone, select the purple podcast icon, and using the search tool, type in Dirty Lazy Girl, and then click on the thumbnail to open it up. Scroll down until you see ratings and reviews, and click on the stars and select 5 stars. Scroll down and select leave a review, and type in your review and hit OK. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like us, and leave us comments. We would love your random act of kindness by leaving us these reviews.
Love it. And I have a wonderful listener comment from Eric.
Okay.
And I'd like to share that with the group. And I got his permission. Okay. And he says he was just listening to our last podcast about cheating during the holidays. And this was Eric's comment. He said, "Stephanie, I learned my lesson last year. This year, my defenses are up. No amount of chocolate cream pie is going to make me break. Show me all the high carb goodies you got, mama. This boy is staying true. I am going to double or triple portion plain turkey with green beans till there is no room for anything left with sugar." You
Good
go,
job,
Eric. Happy holidays, Eric, and all of our listeners.
You got this, Eric. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Dirty Lazy Girl podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Turn on your notifications so you'll never miss a video, and we'll see you next week.